with that in mind, how important is it now, ahead of the biggest and most busy period of the season, that you've got Richarlison back as another option to Solanke?
Yeah, absolutely. But we've been on a busy period for a while, and it's great to get Richie back, and you can see he's getting back to the levels. As I said, we were extra careful with him this time. Not careful, but just make sure that we get him back and we keep him back. And part of his sort of game time at the moment is around that. I just don't want to just throw him straight in. But every time he's playing now, he's making an impact. I thought he made an impact again on Wednesday night out on the left. But yeah, it's really important because again, with the volume of games we've had, the good thing for us is that, again, part of our evolution is we're getting goals from different areas. Pape's popped up with quite a few this year already, and Decky scored, and we need midfielders chipping in, we need defenders chipping in with goals so that they get spread around. Our wingers, obviously, Brendan's been fantastic this year, great for Timo to get a goal the other night. That's just as important. But look, we've already we're being through a busy period. We've got another busy period coming up. So far the squad's maintained a really good level with me making changes. I made 5 or 6 the other night. We've consistently done that, and it's going to be important moving forward.
Is it also particularly important, given that they're slightly different profiles of striker? It's not just that you can put one on with fresh legs, but also they can give you slightly different aspects as well.
Yeah, I think we've tried to do that kind of with the squad. That it's not necessarily like for like. It's just people with different attributes. The underlying sort of foundation of that is there are some things that are kind of non-negotiable in the way we play, but Richie and if you sort of stack them up against Dom, they both work really hard defensively for us, which is important. But yeah, the way they attack then is different. But I think they both have great strengths that certainly we can again benefit from.
James, just kind of following up on that, you mentioned the physical effort you guys put in. We saw Dominic Solanke drop his knees after that game against City. Often from the outside, strikers judge on goals and shots, and in that respect, you might have Dominic struggling in that sense, but clearly he offers something more, and also he's helping get goals from elsewhere around the team. How happy are you with his performances currently, and how happy is he? He's a striker and also wants to score goals, so I wonder where you find a balance with his performances.
I'm delighted with him, mate. I couldn't be happier. The way he's leading that front line, and he was a major reason we won the game the other night, because City will grind you if you and sort of pin you right back for the whole game if you let them, and he just didn't allow that to happen, and he just kept running and pressing, and he had good quality on the ball. I mean, any other night he would have had a couple of assists as well. I know everyone talks about the goals, and he'll get his goals as well. But if he plays at that level every week for us, that's going to make us a really, really good football team. And like I said, I couldn't be happier with him. Is he happy? Mate, you'd have to ask him. I couldn't care less because I'm happy, and that's the main thing.
I was going to say, is he the kind of lad you hear strikers of old saying, or if I didn't score the team when I'm not bothered? Is he the kind of lad that put his arm around and go, I know you didn't score, but I'm happy with how you're doing, or is he worried about the goals?
I think I've said before, I'm not a cuddler. I feel when he dropped to his knees the other night, having beaten City, I reckon he got all the rewards he needs, to feel good about what he's done. He knew, and I think it's a credit to him. And I said it to the lads this morning. To be honest, that's the way you should feel at the end of a game. Like, you've emptied the tank, you've given everything, because that's when you're playing against the best. That's what it demands of you. It'd be much worse if you kind of didn't win and you walked off feeling like you had more. So I don't need to put an arm around him. Like I said, I couldn't praise him highly enough for his performance Wednesday night, the way he's been since he's been at the club. I thought he was just outstanding the other night.
Tom, similar theme. I mean, we can see how well Dominic's playing, but he hasn't had a shot on target in 6 games, which is quite surprising for a centre forward. Does that matter? based on what you're saying, doesn't sound like it matters at all.
Oh, look, it depends, Tom. I mean, there was a couple of weeks before he scored where people were saying he hasn't scored in 3 or 4 games, and he was injured during that time. Then he scores a couple of goals. But I don't think it matters, no. I really don't, because to me what's much more important is his contribution to us, playing our football, because maybe he'd have, 3 goals and more shots on target, but if he wasn't doing the job we needed for him to do, we would be struggling as a team. So for me, that's the ultimate measure is, each component of what we set up team-wise, is it contributing to us playing the football we want? And he certainly is now. Like I said, I mean, he's been a breath away from scoring another goal or 2, and then, people don't talk about this stuff. But I don't, for me personally, no, it's not how I measure a striker's performance on, how many shots he gets on target, or even the number of goals he scores. Obviously, if he's not getting into the area, or he's missing a lot of chances, or, there's an issue there with the way he's going about things, we'll address it. But for the way we're playing at the moment and what we need, I think he's the perfect sort of, front man for us. And I do believe he will score a lot of goals for us. I don't have a fear in terms of that.
And you mentioned about the goals coming from everywhere. I think no team, I think Arsenal and Spurs have both got 12 goal scorers across all competitions. No one else has got more than that. I mean, it used to be, I guess when you got Harry in a team, it's always going to be the front man and then Sonny. But I know when he left, you were thinking you had to get goals from elsewhere. But how happy with how that's come to pass? Yeah,
look, again, I guess that's what I'm continually talking about. We've had a major shift at the club, from what it was for a very long time, which was not necessarily, well, it wasn't successful, but it was still very formidable, that with Harry and, like I said, Sonny, that it was a tough team to stop, especially with the transition football they were playing. So I've tried to take us to a totally different sort of direction in 15 months, where we're not reliant sort of on one person or one way of scoring or one sort of way of playing our football. And when it's such a serious departure, it's kind of what we're struggling with at the moment, the inconsistency of it. But I still think that if we persevere with it, we'll get to a space where we can be just as formidable, but in a different way, of oppositions maybe trying to stop us, and knowing that we've got multiple ways of breaking through, scoring goals, or being effective in our football. And I am, this year especially, I just seen, I think, and he hasn't played a lot, but every time Pape's played, he's either scored or assisted or close. Now, that's not something that people were sort of synonymous with him, and he's still got the physicality, the running aspect, and the closing down. So, we've got getting goals out of the wingers, which I think we needed to do more. Now, Decky, I think, is looking more and more of a goal threat from midfield. We got a goal from an attacking set piece the other night. No one's mentioned that. Mentioned that in the attacking set piece. But there are areas that, if we can become sort of more proficient in all those kind of things, as I said, we need to become a bit of a different team, and that's kind of where we're headed now.
And just Paul, please.
Sometimes when a club loses a big, reliable star like Harry, it can obviously be a blow, but it can also give other players a lot of freedom sometimes to express themselves. They see more of the ball, get more chances. Do you think over the long term, I guess you're hoping at least, that you might actually be an even better, even more dangerous team when those players have found their feet and play with that confidence?
Yeah, well, that's the aim. But again, like I've said before, don't get me wrong, if Harry was here, I'd be very, very happy manager. So we'd find a way to fit him in, mate. But you're right. Part of that is, with him leaving, is that opportunity for people to grow. And we're still in that phase. I really believe. I think there's more that the guys have in them that I keep saying. I think they've got a really high ceiling, and some of them are still. They're kind of just trying to stick their head up a little bit more every time, but then you have a performance like Palace, and you feel like, oh, Now, are they going to cower again or just stand up even further knowing that, okay, we've had a disappointing one? But you need to go through those experiences. But I definitely see that growth in a lot of the players. And like I said, that's why I think they've got a really high ceiling. Once I can cajole them, convince them to just keep going, don't be afraid, don't fear stumbling, failure, criticism, scrutiny, just keep going. I think there is that opportunity for us. And it's the only way we'll become the team we want to be, because I certainly don't think we will by, bringing in another Harry. I just don't think those kind of players exist, or they're rare anyway. So for us, it's going to have to be a real collective, effort to get to where we want to.
Do you think, because of the way Villa picked you last season, is there anything more on this for the players? Do they still carry that with them? Is there a little bit of a rivalry there because of that?
No, but I think we're looking forward to it, because we know it's going to be a good game, because they're a good side, and they ask, again, they're a team that asks you certain questions, and we know we can ask them certain questions. And the thing is with Unai's team, it doesn't chop and change too much. There's a core there that consistently play, and the way they play, and they're really very well drilled. So it's a great challenge, but it's at home for us. Again, another home game. We want to continue to be strong at home, and we certainly need to make sure our league form is more consistent than what it has been, results wise. That's of primary importance for us.
It doesn't hurt at all seeing them play, the football that you wanted to play in Europe.
In terms of,
Because they finished above you.
in Champions League, you mean?
Yeah, your records were almost identical. One result.
Yeah.
The way we changed it around.
Yeah.
Kind of stole it from
Yeah. And if English teams had done better in Europe last year, geez, everything's against me, mate. Woe is me. No, I don't think that way, mate. They got what they deserved. We got what we deserved. We're playing where we're playing. They're playing where they're playing. We just try and get on top of them this year.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.
Good luck.
Thanks.
Good luck with the goal.